Okay, bestie, today we are going to talk about the downside of real estate. You know, that part that people don't talk about? They are just posting like all of the Instagram highlight reels, how wonderful it is to be in this business, and not giving you the real on how it will literally chew you up and spit you out if you are not ready for it. But that's okay because today I am going to honestly pull back the curtain and have a come to Jesus talk with not only you, but myself, because guess what? There's a downside to anything that you really want, and you just have to be aware of it going in. And we are going to break this all down. Now, I hope this doesn't come off as like a negative episode because y'all know I love the Lord. I never want to be negative, but I also want to be very honest because I am actually experiencing the downside of something in my life. So, a few episodes ago, I shared with you my great idea and how, I was finally taking control and just being honest with myself about my health and fitness journey, hired a health and fitness coach, paid a lot of money, and I am in this thing, okay? I'm following the meal plans, I'm following the workouts, I'm saying no to stuff. Like literally right now while I'm talking to you, I can smell my husband grilling up some wonderful food that it's not that I can't eat it, but I'm choosing to follow the meal plan, yada, yada, yada. And guess what? My results right now are not exactly what I want them to be. Now, I'll get into it a little bit more, but if I can just share it transparently and from my heart, I just thought that I would have been further along than I am right now based on the effort that I'm giving. It's one thing when I'm like lying to myself and lying to the world about the effort that I'm giving, but it's a whole other thing. And just type amen in the chat if you are like this. If you know you are doing the things, right? You are doing the things, you are following the plan, you are following the prescription, but the math isn't mathing. And that's when it becomes really frustrating and you absolutely want to quit. I'm going to give you some real life things that I have to think about when I am facing or if I'm on the dark side of a situation, because this is truly where success and failure is determined, right? Whether you keep going or whether you quit. And the determining factor for you to keep going when you are faced with the dark side is like, okay, how am I going to continue? What things do I need to be thinking about? How do I need to be framing not only my thoughts, but how do I need to be shifting my activities to stay in this thing when it gets hard? And newsflash, it's going to get hard. So here we go. Here's the first part about the dark side that I really want you to think about that people don't talk about enough in real estate is what is the dark side to not having structure in your business. And a lot of us are drawn to this business. You are drawn to being a real estate agent because frankly, you sick of somebody telling you what to do. You sick of, these people putting meetings on your calendar. You're sick of, being told that you got to be up and at work at this time, that you can't go to your kids' school, that you got to draw your PTO. Like we are sick of being told what to do. And you want that freedom. You want that flexibility of time. You want that flexibility of schedule. And while I will probably, now I'm not going down the hill, but I will always say that yes, this is one of the most flexible careers that you can have. There is such danger by not knowing how to structure your day and structure your business like a business. Because honestly, that structure is where you're going to get that freedom. And that freedom can come in a lot of different ways. Like I think about last night, I was actually laying on the couch. Was I taking a nap? I don't know. Maybe I was halfway asleep. But my phone rang, and my phone rang with a young lady who I spoke with earlier in the week. She was a referral by my aunt, and we had a follow-up call scheduled. But anyway, she called me at like 9:40 at night. And yes, was I, sitting on the couch? Yes. Could I have answered the phone? Could I have had a conversation with her? All those things. It's my own business. Da, 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 da. Yes, I could have. But guess what? That would have been violating the structures that I have put in place for my business. Because something as small as answering this person's call, who is not my client yet, okay, I just want to point that out, they're not my client yet, and that maybe why she called me so late, because we haven't had a consultation. But I would have been training her or giving her approval to not follow the different structures that I have in place for my business. Okay. Some of you might be like, but girl, that's a lead. Well, guess what? I called that lead back in the morning when it was my business working hours. I didn't have to give her a whole, spiel on why I didn't pick up her phone. It actually, her phone call, it actually wasn't even a point of conversation. I answered her question, and guess what? We have a consultation scheduled in a couple of days. But my point is that it's because I had structures in my business that I didn't feel the need to be reactive to her in the moment. And a downfall that I see a lot of agents have is not having those structures, because we are chasing everything, because you are chasing leads. You don't have these structures put in place on, number one, how you are spending your time, but also how other people have to respect your time. And now, you know what, you're running around and you're doing all the things, and you're coming up short. Or you're actually getting business. This may be even worse. You're getting business, but it's at the sacrifice of what you said you wanted when you started, right? You wanted some flexibility, you wanted some freedom. And now, instead of having one boss that's telling you what to do, you're at the beck and call of everybody, because those structures are not in place. So it's so important. And this is the type of person that I am too. It's like when I was first establishing my business, I needed to see a roadmap. Like, how is it done? And what type of structures, like from the way I should be spending my time to who I should be calling and when, and what type of value, pretty much the way I am with my meal prep. Like, if you just tell me what to do, I'll do it. But without having those structures and guessing, you can waste a whole lot of time guessing and trying to figure it out. So that is one of the dark sides. If you are just every day, you just going for what you know, and you're being reactive instead of proactively planning your day, planning how you are going to be running your business, then I guarantee you that you will come to a place of like, ugh, this is not working. It is absolutely not working. Okay, here's the other dark side that people don't prepare you for, is how hard rejection is, period. Okay. And I'm going to tell you that on my whole health and wellness journey right now, I feel good for the most part. Like, I feel like I'm following the plan. I feel good when I look in the mirror. My clothes are feeling a little bit better. But I'll be doggone, when I get on that scale, I feel like rejected. Like, I feel like all of my efforts have been thrown away. And because of that, if I'm not careful, that rejection, right, will make me say, forget the whole thing. And what about you and in your business? If we think that we are going to convert every single person, and everybody that you meet is going to be ready and willing and able to buy, or even they are ready, willing, and able to buy, and that they're going to choose to work with you, or you're going to be the best fit. When we are faced with that rejection, when we're faced with that no, like that can take your breath away. And the reality is that we are in sales. And in sales, you are going to hear a lot of no's. And quite honestly, if you're not hearing a considerable amount of no's, especially in the beginning, that means that we're not putting ourselves out there enough. Okay. But here is the thing. When we have quote unquote rejection, what are the lessons that we can get from it, and how can we get better? True story. I just recently had an interaction where there was a client. It is very rare, and I'm not saying this to toot my own horn, but this is just the way we roll. It's very, very rare that I have somebody who's transacted with me and then they choose to transact with somebody else later. Like, they bought or sold with me, and then a couple years later, they not use us. But we found out, it's funny. Well, let me tell you how we found out. My client actually reached out to somebody on my team and told them that they were putting their house on the market. They weren't using us, but kind of wanted our advice. Now, of course, we couldn't give advice, but I was curious. So, what made you choose to work with somebody else and not choose to work with us? And it literally was relational, right? They literally have somebody in their life who is now a licensed agent, and they just wanted to do them a solid and work with them. Okay. But here's the thing. What do you do with that rejection? Because initially, a couple years ago, I kind of would have been like, take them off my client list. Like, it is what it is. But no, I actually asked them, okay, well, who you working with? Like, send me their information. I got some listings that might meet your criteria. Let me send them over the information and we go from there, because I want to handle I want to learn and handle from the rejection well. And here's the reality is that everybody is not going to be the best fit for you at the best time. But I understand, or I'm coming to understand, that our reputation is going to continue to precede us outside of this transaction. And it's an opportunity to not only handle the rejection well, but to represent Christ well, right? Because in the way that, like, that's really, y'all, you do get that that's really where we really get to look like Jesus, is not when everything is going well, but when things are not going well or they don't go as planned. How do we show up and how do we handle that rejection? And I'll tell you, like, there have been times, going back to the whole scale thing, there have been times where I would get on the scale and I felt like the scale rejected me. Well, I'm going to reject the plan, right? Let me go get these candy. Let me go get these cookies. Let me go do whatever. But honestly, that's saying that I don't trust the process. And the process, like, that's the part that a lot of times we skip over, is not only how the process is really going to be what gets you to the results, but the process is what's refining you and what is making you better. And that's how we have to approach rejection. So that's one of the things people don't talk about enough, but I'm going to talk about it. Okay. Now here's the next one. Let's talk about this, because this is the part that I think, like, this is what got me with my whole health and wellness thing. And the part that I think gets a lot of us, because you may be following the plan and you may be doing the thing, and the thing that you're doing is hard, but then to have to tweak it and make it harder so it can work. So let's talk about it. Okay. So let's just talk about, like, you're showing up every single weekend. The hard part is doing the open houses, right? It's following up. It's putting out the signs. It's calling the listing agents to get the open house, to get all the people in the door, to show up on social media. So you mean to tell me, after I do all that, if that's not working for me, see, what will happen is a lot of people will just say, oh, well, open houses don't work, I'm not going to do them. Where what could be happening, and this is what happened to one of my agents that I was coaching, it's not that the open house, like, all of that prep work wasn't working, but there was an opportunity for us to tweak these conversations that she was having in the open house so that she could get better at converting. And that is the part that I feel like we miss, is that tweaking process. And let me tell you, this just happened to me. So, doing all the things, sharing everything that I need to with my coach, and we're looking at, my meal plan. Homegirl was like, okay, I think I'm going to decrease your intake by 10%. Now I'm thinking to myself, ma'am, excuse me, ma'am, I'm doing really well. Not going ham with the percent. I don't have 10% to give. Okay. That's just literally what I'm thinking to myself. But I had to respect the fact that this is a guide. She has, degrees and knowledge in nutrition. And I have to trust, like, I would trust her if she would have gave me more calories. I have to trust her when she's taking them away. And I get to decide, am I going to accept the tweak? What I appreciate, though, is not continuing to do the same thing in the same way and expecting a different result. Okay. Sometimes we can do the same thing, but we got to tweak the way we're doing it in order to get a different result. Me and my husband and I, we have always been date night people, but something that changed for us is, like, we still go on dates, but now the times when we're intentional, we play, like, these question games and, just different things that have us talking. It has improved the quality of our intimacy and our conversations at the date, because we're doing the same thing going on a date, but we're tweaking the way that we're doing it. A lot of times, though, when you're already doing the thing, it's hard to accept the tweaks and accept the coaching and accept the mentorship. But I'm telling you, that could be the game changer. And for most people, especially most successful people, there comes a point in life where they had to get that a different level of accountability and support before you thought you were ready, so that you can get to the next level. And that's a part that I don't think a lot of people talk about, right? Is like, when I'm already trying, I'm already sick and tired, I'm already doing all the things, and you want me to give a little bit more. Well, yes, sometimes it's that little bit more effort that makes all of the difference in the fact if you are in a scenario where you can have a coach, a guide, someone who has gone before you to kind of lay out the foundation and then give you ideas on how to tweak when we need to tweak, when we need to adapt because of market, because of whatever it is we need to adapt to, then that's something that we need to do. Okay. So that's something we won't talk about enough. And I'm just putting it out there. Okay. I'm tweaking my process too. I don't like it, but I'm tweaking the process. Now, here's the next one when it comes to downside. We got to be honest with ourselves. Okay. Because sometimes we overestimate our effort, what we're doing, and we underestimate what it will take. And sometimes we flat out lie to ourselves. So with this whole meal plan scenario, Shadid, I typically plan out my meals. I put them in my Fitness Pal. I log them ahead of time, and then I eat for the rest of the day. There have been a couple of times because I actually share this meal. I share my Fitness Pal log with my team, with my coach. There have been a couple times where I have considered, I'm like, I done had a few more nuts. Like I said, I had 15 nuts, but I really had 18. Or, I didn't quite log when I ate a little corner of my husband's steak because it's just a little protein. It ain't gonna help. And it dawned on me, friend, by you not reporting it to the coach, you do understand it doesn't hurt her. You need to be honest with yourself about the actual effort that you're putting in the thing. And the more honest I am with myself and being honest with that with my coach, now we really know what to tweak. But if I'm not being 100% keeping it 100 with myself, then I cannot be upset when I don't get the results that I want, right? And because a lot of us, and I know I've done this too, it's like, oh, I called all the people, but I really didn't call them. You texted them. Or, you said you did the open house and you did the open house, but you didn't promote it until the day before the open house. You didn't go live and you was too cheap to buy enough signs. You only got 2 signs out there and you wonder why nobody showed up, right? When we are honest with ourselves and really being honest about the amount of effort that we are giving and be honest about where we need to make the tweaks and just show up differently, it removes the barrier of excuses. And then here's the thing, because this was my thought, right? And this is literally my thought when my coach was changing my meal plan. I was like, okay, I need to be very, very solid this week because I don't want her decreasing my calories when in hindsight, I done ate a little piece of Corey steak and I ate these extra 2 nuts. I really don't think it's a big deal, but that's throwing me off. And now I'm on quote unquote punishment because of it, right? So by being honest with yourself about the effort that you're putting in and allowing that support to come alongside of you, it will be a game changer, okay? And this is what I tell the girls that I coach all the time. I would rather you just be what can you do? And then we build from there. When I got into real estate, they were telling me I need to make 100 calls a day to get 10 contacts in 1 appointment. And let me tell you something, that works. I know people who have built businesses years upon years. That works, cold calling all those people, getting those appointments, all that stuff. It didn't work for me. I would rather, what they say, walk barefoot over Legos than do that because it would not work for me. It wouldn't work for me long term. I would not have enjoyment and be in the business if that is the way that I generate business. But what I also don't want to do is lie to myself and think that I don't have to do anything. So what is the happy medium? Okay. And I am a firm believer, 60 to 90 minutes a day of making sure that you are having real estate conversations, that you are reaching out, that you know how to convert, that you know how to turn every conversation into a real estate conversation, it will produce a robust business. But if I am not honest first with myself and then honest with those that I am serving, then I'm not going to ever be able to show up in that way. So that's what I want to ask you. If you are sitting here and you're watching this video and you're feeling frustrated, right? You feel like you're doing everything that you can do, but really, are you? Are you investing in your business? Are you making the phone calls? Are you getting out of your own way? Are you showing up on the video, right? Are you studying the contract? Are you practicing having these conversations? Are you in a community that's going to support you and help you get out there, right? And if you're not, that's fine, but just be honest about where you are. And the sooner that you're honest about where you are and you make the effort and you actually make the action steps to get where you want to go, that's where we are going to start seeing results, and the dark side does not feel as dark anymore. And I'm preaching to you, but I'm also preaching to myself, because these are conversations that I'm having with myself, is to say, okay, yeah, you may be giving at 95% Rosemary, but where's that 5% that you're holding out on, and what do you need to do? And I'm gonna tell you like the real sad reality, y'all. I thought, like, for this health and fitness coach, I was like, okay, I budgeted for 3 months. I am like coming to the realization that it's probably going to take longer, not only longer for me to get to the result that I want to get to, but also all of the mindset and the behavior shifts. Because when I tell you, like, just a couple days ago, I was on my way to go get a GLP-1 shot and eat some Twizzlers and just say, forget it. Like, I literally was on my way. And that was an indicator to me, like, nope, you probably need longer to be inside of this community so that you can start having these mindset shifts. And maybe that's what you need to, right? You need to put yourself in places that's going to force you to be honest about the real effort that you're giving and hold you accountable to giving that effort. I know, but that's where we at. And then here is like kind of a twofer, right? That I don't think we talk about enough when it comes to like the dark side of building your real estate business, is that, friends, it's just hard to be consistent, right? When you're honest with yourself, when you're doing the tweaks, when you're doing the things, the consistency piece is the part that really takes a lot of us out. But let me tell you, like, there is one key to success, right? And whether you win or whether you don't, it's just going to be where you're consistent at. And I share, like, a lot of times I hear this, right? I hear the guilt, I hear the shame bubble up from my coaching students, the coaching besties that feel like, I just struggle with being consistent, right? And here's the thing, like, first of all, I just want us to ask you right now, go ahead and type it in the chat. Let me know. Did you brush your teeth today? And if you didn't, maybe you don't want to type it. But like, come on, shame. Like, we're gonna tell the truth and shame the devil. Did you brush your teeth today? Okay, did you brush them yesterday? All right. Oh my gosh, did you bathe today? Hit the like button if you bathed today. Because if you did, guess what? You have shown that you have the ability to be consistent. Now, so when the lie comes up in your head and it starts to feel hard and you want to take the day off from doing your real estate, your money making activities, and you start to tell yourself, oh, I'm never consistent. Nope, that's a lie, because you are a toothbrusher, whatever you say it. You are a bather, you know what I'm saying? You are a makeup wearer. You are like, whatever you do on a consistent basis, you have proof that you have been consistent. However, when it's like one of the things that I believe helps us when it comes to reaching a goal and being consistent is accountability. Accountability and guidance is a lot of times the game changer. And quite honestly, speaking of accountability and guidance, I'm gonna tell you why I haven't like gone rogue and just gone back to my Twizzlers and my old ways. It's because I have accountability, right? Because I made a commitment, and when I hired this coach, it was for a specific amount of time that I had to commit to, and I'm happy that that commitment was on the front end, because if I got to commit as I went, then I would have quit, right? I would have said, this is too hard. I don't want to tweak. I don't want to be consistent. I want to go back to my old ways, because at least, if I was disappointed, I at least had a sugar rush before I was disappointed, and it was worth it. But because of the support and the accountability in place, it is forcing a level of consistency that I know that I would not have on my own. But here's the challenge. A lot of times, because I was like this too for a long time, we try to beat ourselves up, and you're trying to do all these things on your own that you probably need to do in community, that you probably need to do with a coach, that you probably need to do with support. And for a lot of us, that's going to look different. For some of you, you can link up with another real estate bestie in your area. Y'all can get some stuff on your calendar and you can make it work. For some of you, bestie, you may need to join a team. That was one of the things that I did when I first started out, was I joined a team. And being on the right team and having that right level of support, it helped me frame and structure my business in a way that was invaluable. Okay. And I know a lot of people have a lot of flack for teams because of team splits and stuff like that. But I'm here to tell you, you can make a whole lot of money while on the team and even life after a team. But then for some of you, you may be like, okay, there's not a team around me, or I'm not in position to be on a team right now. I don't have I got a real estate bestie, but she busy, I'm busy. Like, we flaky with meeting up and things like that. I need something else. Well, if you need something else, friend, we have Bestie Bootcamp, okay? Bestie Bootcamp is our 5-week cohort. It's starting on June 2nd, and it's literally where I lay out for you the foundations in your business so that you can have the structure, stop taking out the guesswork, so that you are not doing business by yourself, so that you finally feel confident on how you're showing up, and you have a real roadmap and a game plan on what you need to be doing, what you need to be saying, how you need to say it, and how to stay consistent until the results are represented in your bank account. Now, like I said, we start on June 2nd. And to join the bootcamp, all you got to do is go to rosemarylewis.com/bootcamp, or we will put the link exactly where you're watching this video, because, friend, there are going to be some dark sides to building your business, some dark sides to getting unstuck, some dark sides to getting the life that you desire to live. But this is what I want to tell you. And this is, I'm being honest with you while I'm in the thick of it. Because when I was, having those thoughts of quitting my health and wellness journey, I literally thought to myself, like, Rosemary, okay, worst case scenario, if you continue on with this health and wellness journey, like, it's going to work, right? The math is going to math. Faith, like you reap what you sow. You are going to get there if you don't quit. And that's something that my coach told me. She said, it's literally no way you can fail. The only way you can fail is if you quit. And the support of having the coach is what helped me not to quit. But then I thought about it. But if I was to say, forget it, go to HEB, grab my Twizzlers, not track my meals, then look at both versions. Even if, let's just say the scale never moved, 6 months from now, I would have a different level of discipline, a different level of respect for my body than the latter. Okay. And I already know what it feels like to be disappointed on that end. So I have nothing to lose than to go hard on the other end. If you are like, you know what, I have nothing to lose, I have only things to gain, even when it's hard, then join me in Bestie Bootcamp. I mean, I am truly, truly convinced that it is probably it's that step that you can take before you go full throttle coaching to get the foundation of what you need so that you can stop guessing. Because we are midway through the year. And midway through the year right now, what happens in Q2 and Q3 is really going to determine how your year is going to turn out. And there's still more than enough time for you to hit that 6-figure mark. But baby, you just have to make it past this dark side. Okay, I hope this was helpful for you, bestie. As always, I am cheering for you. I am rooting for you. And I can't wait to see you inside the bootcamp. I will talk to you soon. Bye. If you enjoyed this episode and you have a real life bestie that you think it would resonate with, y'all, do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that share button, because you know what? We are better together. Make sure you share the podcast, and I appreciate your reviews. I appreciate you giving me 5 stars more than you know. I'll talk to you next week.